Hello, my name is Bryan Nelson, and I am the National Cybersecurity Specialist at Intelisys. The Verizon Data Breach Investigation Report contains invaluable research into incident and breach activities from the last year. As an Intelisys partner, you can leverage these insights to open opportunities with your customer. To unpack that, today I am joined by Derek Boxdell, Senior Director of Cybersecurity Solutions North America at Verizon. Hey Derek, how you doing?
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to kind of show up here and talk a little bit about some of the things that are near and dear to both of our hearts.
I'd like to just kick it off with how can partners use the Data Breach Investigation Report, or DBIR, to create value and start business relevant conversations with their customers?
I think the DBIR offers an opportunity for folks to leverage something credible, right? Something that's data backed, with insights that are relevant across the security landscape. I think you use that to tailor, your customer challenges. You can fold in where they are from an industry standpoint, what role they play. Um, I think that the thing that the DBIR allows us to do, though, really is it allows us to lead with, what's in the report rather than what anecdotally your customers
Right?
are hearing. You can lead with things like, look, this is what it means for your business and your risk exposure if you leave the back door open, if you don't have a business continuity disaster recovery solution, if you don't have backups, or if you do have backups but they're tied to the network, this is what it means for your business, right? The DBIR really goes into depth around trying to tie some of the challenges that we've seen over the last year, to some of the things that you and your customers might be able to do to mitigate risk. And that shift opens the door to higher value conversations, right?
Yeah.
Not just, allows you to depart from the technical and really get into outcomes based, right? Here's what your executives are hearing. Here's what their stakeholders at, on various board scenarios might be hearing, and it positions you as a strategic advisor, right? Not just a tech provider.
Right. There's so much noise in the cybersecurity space, and I think the DBIR gives you that third party, a holistic view into the landscape of cybersecurity threats from a place of research, right? And proven information, not just, anecdotally, if you don't do X, you may experience this type of breach. No, this is what's happening, right?
Right.
So what are the top risk areas customers are still overlooking, and how can Intelisys partners help connect their customers to Verizon solutions?
Look, I think there are three things that really stand out to me. I think customers, when you read the DBIR, there's a lot in it. I think customers are still underestimating the impact of third party vendor risk. We make a big stink about that in the DBIR because it is such an important fact, but customers, let that kind of slide when it comes to the things that they really are paying attention to and need to address. I think identity based attacks are more prevalent this year. And one of the items that folks are really thinking about addressing as we think about zero trust and things of that nature, and then slow detection response times. It is more often today we are seeing threat actors compromise environments faster, and our customers aren't really keeping pace with the containment, detection, and response times that you would need in order to mitigate that, sort of faster time to compromise. I think you bridge those gaps by showing customers where the DBIR intersects with their unique environment. It allows you to then map solutions to what you, from a partner community standpoint, can offer: managed detection and response, identity and access management, risk quantification, to really directly reduce the impact of how quickly threat actors are gaining access to environments these days.
So you mentioned small shops and big shops. Does Verizon go down market to work with small businesses with cybersecurity solutions?
We do. So we've got good level of coverage across the larger Fortune 500 accounts,
Yeah.
but we do play in the commercial space. So we will see customers that are smaller in nature, but have some of the needs around security that most folks do have, right? Given what it is that we're seeing across the DBIR, I think when you think about how to address those, it's different, right? So depending on where you are, and I think that's perhaps why you asked the question, right? The way that
Mm,
we address some of the challenges at the small medium business level is different than the strategic or the global 2000 or Fortune 500 level. But I think it's more so. I talked about managed detection and response. How do I get uh, talent and resources to cover the many investments I have and provide ROI back to the business when it comes to the security solutions I've invested in? A managed service would help with that. If you're a small, medium business company, you probably don't have the resources
Yeah.
or the dollars to devote to what it really takes to manage the security tools across the business in an effective, efficient manner. And so we see smaller companies going to managed detection and response solutions to get that, sort of continuous monitoring coverage that they would need. That a big box shop or a big enterprise company, they've got 80 folks, right, devoted to
Yeah.
SOC, sort of
Mhm.
responsibilities across the business.
So I'm thinking to myself, I'm a partner. I get out the DBIR, I read through it. What do I do with it? Like how can partners take the DBIR and turn it into qualified pipeline and deeper customer engagements?
We are trying to do the same thing, right? So
Hmm.
it's a good question. And as a
Yeah.
sales leader, one of the responsibilities that I've got is helping my sales organization be as efficient and as dangerous and informative as they can. I like the opportunity. I'm a sales guy, but I like to take the sales hat off whenever I can, and the DBIR allows me to do that.
Hmm.
I think of the briefing, right, as the first step in the sales motion. What I'm driving the sellers to do is use that to uncover pain points, use it to quantify potential losses. And then you let that sort of build itself into a follow up meeting that's about solutions or scope or delivering on outcomes. If we can map, right, with that, I'll use the inventory company, right? They're in a space where business continuity disaster recovery is a thing, right? Backups not being connected to the network is a thing. If you don't have those two things in place and you find yourself subject to a ransomware attack, you probably need to pay the ransom.
Hmm.
Um, but walking through those with that company really helped them see, okay, like, I was we did a session after the retail event, and I'm in front of the CEO and the CFO and the COO and the CISO, and as
Hmm.
I'm walking through these, the CEO is looking over to the CISO like, hey, we got backups? Yeah, we do. Are they connected to the network? No, they're not. Do we have continuous monitoring in place? No, we don't. But we're
Hmm.
looking at doing that next, right? So I think this allows sellers, partners to really, kind of set the table for what it is that the unique company they're presenting to is seeing across the security threat landscape, and then drive the conversation to right solutioning, scoping, and then driving the outcomes. I
Hmm.
think we turn those insight sessions into tangible next steps across the buying journey if we're able to leverage the DBIR as the first step in that sales motion.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today for this informative session with Derek Boxdell from Verizon. And thank you, Derek, for joining. Your expertise is just invaluable, as is the DBIR and all the research it represents. Please reach out to your regional engineer for more information, or if you would like to have a review of the DBIR with you in the context of your customer engagements.
Thanks again, Brian. Happy to be here.
Thanks.